I want to tell you a little bit about our story. I'm representing a startup company that was founded 1 year ago, and actually around 1 year ago I was here for the first time, and that was at that time when I was, thinking about should I quit academia, should I quit my great and wonderful scientific career in my head, of course, great and wonderful, and take part in this entrepreneurship journey that is only ups and downs and always 2 times worse information than good information coming into your head, and being always unsure of what is happening tomorrow, and having also my beautiful wife and children. This makes it even more shaky to deal with it emotionally, but somewhere in my head I think I have this anxiety to do something outside of academia, and this is how the company started. So we started 1 year ago with a group of people with money that we could get from VC fund, and I will tell you a few stories about it. And this is more about a hardware company than the software, and I will be sharing our experiences. Maybe some of you will relate to that, maybe some of you may not because you're in a different industry, but I hope some things can be universal. So shortly about what we do. If this dark line would be a human hair, made a little bit bigger, so this would be a 40 micrometer in width, then our company prints silver lines that are around 100 times thinner than the human hair. And this is a very fine printing method that if you print metal lines like this, they become invisible to the light. They become invisible to human eye, but also the light will not bounce back from the line. This will go inside of the solar cell, because actually what we want to do is we want to help people who make solar cells. Solar cells are devices that change the light into the electricity, and they are still too expensive, they are still not efficient enough. So people all over the world are trying to find ways to make the solar cells more efficient, more cheaper, and our mission is to design a tool that will help people who make solar cells to make them more efficient. So we don't want to make solar cells, we want to help the guys who make them. And the solar cell industry is growing all over the world, and this is just a small note that only last year, all over the world, there was about 40 gigawatt of solar energy installed. And actually Poland, the total electrical energy capacity in Poland is 40 gigawatts. So this is the same amount that was installed in photovoltaics globally. So that's quite a lot, and the progress is huge. At the same time, the solar cells are getting cheaper and cheaper every year, not because of some tremendous huge breakthrough, but because of step-by-step smart engineering work that is being done all over the world. And we think about our project as another step that can be done for the photovoltaic industry. We don't want to change the game, we don't want to throw all the big plants that are installed all over the world away, but we want to modify them a little bit better so they can be more efficient. And solar cell plants look like this. They are like a football field, and you have a step-by-step. The sand is being changed into silicon, and silicon is being changed into solar cell and into solar panel. And we want to change one part of this whole sequence. Okay. This is about me and our team. I will skip it a little bit, but I will tell that in snapshot, we are 2 scientists who spent around 10 years of their lives abroad. I was in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Australia, in China. Zbyszek was in Austria, UK, in Norway, and I think in Brazil. And we've been studying different topics, and then we met on one of the conferences in Poland, and we had an idea that we want to develop as a potential business, not just as a potential scientific work. So this was like 2 scientists meeting together and thinking about a business. So of course you need someone to balance this scientific thinking with business thinking, and we have a CEO who is experienced in building businesses. Sebastian, actually, I think I have his photo, but I don't know how to go back, and I don't want to screw this. So we had a nice team, and we needed the money and to start our project. And I was really scared if this, if you can come with a team and an idea and people and tell them, hey, help us out. Will someone risk their money to support this kind of adventure? And actually, these people exist, and this is fascinating to me. generally going from academia and the world of scientific contacts into the business people contacts. And probably some of you who run their own businesses met these guys who have and girls who have been successful with the business, and now they want to help the others to start new business. So I met some of them, and one of them became our business angel. It's Konrad Pankiewicz. I highly recommend you this person to contact when you think about your endeavors. Then we have a venture company investing in us, one of the VCs early, and so we had a room to work, and I was spent like a few minutes thinking about how do we think about working, and my experiences given to you, and maybe some of you may find it interesting and inspiring. So we think that if you want to make a scientific-based project, it's important that you don't do everything on your own, because most of the time you will not be able to have enough money to make very complicated scientific research. So we have built our independent lab, and the lab is in the build. Okay, now I made a mistake. Okay, I will use this one. So we've built a lab that is here in the middle, where we know what is our core IP. Maybe that's also relevant to some of you. What is your core intellectual property that you want to keep close to you, that you don't want to give anyone to work on it? But at the same time, you have to design your core IP so that if you work with others, because you cannot do everything on your own, that you know where is the boundary of your core IP, and where is the service of the research of whatever service you want to buy. That if you ask people, hey, can you help me with this problem, that by asking this question you're not leaking out your intellectual property. So that was our big decision to make. How much do we want to get help from outside, which usually is cheaper and faster, and how much do we want to keep inside, which is slower and more resource consuming. And trying to balance, what is most risky, and at the same time you always have too little money, too little people, too little time to do everything on your own. So we like standing on this balance and try to make it right. And I don't have a perfect formula for that, but just giving you our philosophy of thinking about this kind of project. So we have research centers in Poland, which have been heavily funded in the last years because of the European money. They have the best equipment you can get in the world. These are really the top state-of-the-art equipment you can have now in Poland. Within 5-10 minutes from here, you can get almost any machine you can imagine. You have it now. This is beautiful. Is it efficiently managed by the public agencies? This is a different topic. So this is a different topic, and I'm not a policymaker, and let's just leave it there. To me, as an entrepreneur, I see it as a resource that I can use. Buy it for 1 hour, this expensive microscopy, this synthesis, but also buy the expertise of people who are there, who are really open to help. And this was, to me, I felt like they will not like me because I betrayed the academia, I stopped being scientist, and now I'm the sleazy businessman, which in their eyes probably, that was what was happening in my head, and now I'm the betrayer, now I just want to have money, and they will not want to, they will not want to be cooperational with me. But on the other, but really these people are really nice, and they want to help, and they are happy if their knowledge gets used somewhere. And of course you need to find an agreement for that, so they can get compensated for their work and stuff. But this is one of the points. One other point is scientific consultants, so people who are not part of your core team, but are willing to help every now and then when you have a particular problem that you can name. This is always difficult to say, what is your problem really? Define the problem in a way that you can tell the people what is your problem, and then they understand it, and then they really can help. And to me it was always a lot of work to define the problem in a way that I can get it solved by help of others, so I know who to look for, and it was also helpful. And then we have business partners, the companies who just sell us their stuff. So I don't know if you can call them partners, but sometimes they do more sophisticated things for us that are not just off the shelf. But I think they say, okay, we like you guys. If you're successful, then we can be part of this deal because we deliver you something that you can then multiply and sell outside. So that was That's our philosophy, and we try to join or combine different scientific disciplines, which is nanotechnology, inorganic chemistry, solid state physics, material engineering. So these are things that there is no one head, no one person in the world that can cover all of that. So you need to have different people working together, and the magic happens when you are able to make them work together, that they trust each other, that they try to use the same language. The chemists talk in a different language than the physicists. They just know different vocabulary to name the same things. So even this is like two people speaking different languages. You have to kind of be in between and try to be a connector or build this bridge of trust, so that they are not afraid not to be misunderstood, so that they can start openly discussing things. And then we have competences that we don't yet have on board, and this is also something that I'm looking for here. Like we want to have people with machine development expertise, electronics expertise, who have been building electronic stuff that works, that is reliable, that is making things happen on the mechanical scale. And in our next development stage, which we hope to start very soon, we will need also this kind of people joining us. So if you know this kind of people, please join me after this talk, or at some point where we can have a coffee and tell me their names. I will be happy to talk to them. Our core intellectual property that we want to protect is a combination of ink that's like the ink for your printer that you use at home. The ink has special features, that it has a color, has a drying parameters, that it dries on your paper or not, that it sticks to your paper or not. So we have an ink that is formulated out of nano silver, and this is very standard, and a lot of people work on nano silver. So you just need to make a nano ink that works with your printing method. Of course, this is not our printer that we have been developing, but it's just to give you an idea that we have ink that can be printed with the method, and the combination of that we decided to cover in our patent application. And now, my philosophy when you think about patent application, and this is easier of course in material science than I think in the IT business. I think it's more complicated when you think about IT, so I'm not an expert on that. I can tell you about my experience, is that if you think you have something nice and you want to patent it, and probably you don't always have enough money to do the best things you can do right away, but please consider before you're being cheap on the lawyers, on the patent lawyers. Please consider, I'm not a patent lawyer, I don't want to make their business big, but I want to tell you that my experience is that if you are cheap on the patent lawyer, because he's your friend uncle, and he once wrote a patent application in the field of bicycles, but you have now nanotechnology, then this guy may not be the best guy to help you, even if he costs 10 times less than the other company that is very experienced in your field of invention. So my recommendation is have your budget, if you're planning a budget for your startup or your project, that will fit substantial costs for help of a patent company. It doesn't have to be international patent company, but it should be a patent company that is good in your field of invention, that have been doing patents in this field, that has some experience, that may be helping you in making a better patent, making a patent that you can use as a first layer of your IP protection, so you can build on top of that with the new patents as your company grows. And this company should be also strong in helping you on the wars of patents that you may have or may not have, but at least that they understand that this possibility exists. Is good. So that was our strategy to burn quite some money for this support from a London-based patent office, and I'm really happy with what they did at the end. It was really a nice document that they helped us to build, and the philosophy that they helped us to bring into this document was really a huge help. So this is my my advice as well. And I have only 3 minutes, so I will skip the technical part, but I really have to just tell one thing, even if I'm not good at explaining it. But this is a line that is hardly visible in the scanning electron microscopy, and it's smaller than 1 micrometer, so it's already in nanometer range, and we are printing it basically in the kind of a garage in Lesznica. It's really almost end of the world if you think about Wrocław. And we are renting a small place and building a garage lab there. And if you can bring this kind of fine structures in a garage in Lesznica, Wrocław, this in my head means, hey, you have a nice metal. Of course, in the next step, you have to go to a bigger lab to make more precise tool. But this is, yeah, what we're doing. Our business model is to sell licenses. We don't produce. Here, this slide shows that we got some funds from PARP for patent protection. We're taking part in this acceleration program, which I think is beautifully designed to help guys like us. We have some letters of intent signed with major players in photovoltaic world, and I'm thinking about global players like #1 solar cell producer in the world signed a letter of intent with us. Some others are on the way, so we're really excited to move forward. And yeah, we're thinking about other application fields of our technology, but this, in the sake of time, I will skip and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.